Hello friends, welcome. Myself, Dr. BVS Ganeswar Rao. Today we will try to understand one of the unique repertories of homeopathy, the Boger-Bonnigeson's characteristics repertory. So before we start, let us try to understand why we need a repertory to make out our cases. Okay. Arriving at a simillimum is the prime objective of every homeopath, right? And that too with easy, quick and reliable way possible. For that, most of us try to get to the things with the shortcut methods like therapeutic hints and keynote prescriptions. Most of us we do. But the problem with inexperienced homeopaths, they overlook the thorough knowledge of materia medica, because the creators of keynotes and therapeutic hints, they are very well aware of their materia medica. The stalwarts like Lippi, Hesse Allen and Guernsey, they know their materia medica very well. But unfortunately, most of the people do not possess that kind of memory to keep all the medicines, the information of materia medica, the information about medicines in the brain. Okay. For that, we need to have a systematic and collective kind of thing which can help us to get to the exact medicine. So it is Dr. Bonnigeson who really felt the need of repertory for an inexperienced. See, with this, one inexperienced homeopath also will be able to come to the exact medicine according to the guidelines of Hahnemann. Okay. So repertory is the index that builds gulf between materia medica and disease symptoms. To understand the need of repertory, one must have to understand the history behind it. Okay. So you can go through many books like repertories and available literature, but I will tell you one of the sources. You can have beautiful narration of all these historical aspects. Why I am saying this means, if you go to the history, you can know how the things have been emerged, why it happened, and what is the need. So as far as the repertories are concerned, there is a beautiful video by Dr. Kim Ilya. 2 sessions I think available. I think you can get them in YouTube also. Just please go through it if it's possible. If you go through those videos, you will be able to understand why I am saying this. I think most of the experienced homeopaths will be able to understand my logic behind asking you to go through this videos or history of the homeopathy, I would say. So we'll try to understand what is a repertorization is all about. So one of the beautiful definition I had for repertorization, it seems to be very convincing to me. Repertorization is essentially a logical elimination of apparently similar remedies, which starts with a large group of remedies and gradually narrows down the field, providing an adequate, appropriate and a small group of remedies, so that the final selection of simillimum becomes easy with further reference to materia medica. So with this background, we will try to enter into today's topic, the Boger-Bonning-Gersen's characteristics repertory. So whenever we try to understand and we try to practice with this repertory, we must understand that the entire background of this repertory comes from the Bonning-Gersen, Dr. Bonning-Gersen. We will try to see how it happened. About this greatness of this wonderful repertory, Dr. Pierre Schmidt in the book Art of Interrogation says, "You must learn your repertory by heart almost and know where to search." Of course, I am searching this since last 47 years every day, 50 times at least. This quote almost, I think, a daily experience for the persons whoever is using this wonderful repertory in their practice. Okay, they say one should not have kind of reservations about only one repertory or only one thing in kind of homeopathy. So you have to go through different repertories and different arenas to select medicine. But in a way, I can't hold my excitement about this repertory because almost 60 to 70% of my practice happens with this repertory alone. For the rest of 30 to 20 to 30% cases only, I go for the other repertories like complete repertory, the Kent repertory, the synthesis, whatever, the Pathak's repertory. Of course, Pathak repertory, that is a separate thing. And the sensation method and all available other methods also. But this is the prime one I generally prefer. But this is not my reservation, but this is my ardent feeling about this wonderful repertory. Dr. Cyrus Maxwell Boser. I'm not going to go with the life situations and all about this wonderful personality because most of you might have been gone through it somehow or other. But we will try to understand the importance and the greatness of this personality from his work alone, right? As an ardent student and follower of Dr. Bonning-Gersen and his philosophy, Dr. Cyrus Maxwell Boser, he completed his graduation in pharmacy from Philadelphia College of Pharmacy. Then he did medicine from Hahnemann Medical College of Philadelphia. He started his practice in Parkersburg, Western Virginia, USA. Because of his ability to make beautiful cures marked with common symptoms only, lot many people from US and across the world used to visit his clinic every day. Okay. So as far as his contribution to homeopathy is concerned, we have the Synoptic Key of Materia Medica. This is the basis, this beautiful book is the basis of another beautiful literature available to us, the Pathak's Materia Medica and the Pathak's repertory. Because Dr. Bonning-Gersen, while preparing Synoptic, he wanted to make out kind of alphabetical kind of repertory. So that was got fulfilled by Dr. Pathak. Okay. Then we have the Boger-Bonning-Gersen's characteristics and repertory, and the edition of Therapeutic Pocket Book edited by Dr. H.A. Roberts, General Analysis and Boger's Card Repertory, Studies in Philosophy of Healing, the Time Remedies and Moon Phases, Proving of a Samoskite, it's a plant remedy, and a systematic alphabetical repertory of homeopathic medicines. That is what I wanted to tell about you. And he was been editor of a homeopathic recorder, a beautiful magazine of that time, and many more articles published over there. So by the time BBC are released, there is already the Kent repertory was prevailing. So what was the need of this BBCR? Because before to Kent repertory, most of the physicians, especially the stalwarts like Lippe, Carol Dunham and all, they used to prefer kind of repertories like the repertory of antisorics and therapeutic pocketbook especially. But after the advent of Kent repertory, therapeutic pocketbook has been took a back aside, right? Why? Because of its limitations, they say. But as an ardent follower of Dr. Bonnigerson, Boger really understood the importance of this beautiful repertory, therapeutic book, and he found the difficulties in day-to-day use of therapeutic pocket books, so he tried to modify the structure and content of that book by adding many medicines, because therapeutic pocket book has got only 112 remedies. Okay, so he tried to add some other medicines, like he added almost 338 remedies or something. We will try to explain later also, and some rubrics drawn from his own experience and other sources. So the basic base of the Boger-Bonnigerson's characteristic repertory is, as I said, the therapeutic pocket book, as because Dr. Boger had a beautiful conviction of its sound principles and plan and construction. Okay, he added 338 remedies to the repertory, overcoming the limitation of therapeutic pocket book, which has got only 112 remedies. So in 1905, with the help of Borick and Tafel, he first published the BBCR. Then he tried to make an enlarged version of this BBCR, but unfortunately he couldn't publish, and he unfortunately died in a food poisoning. Later, his wife, with collaboration of Roy & Co. India, published the final version in 1937, which what we use in right now. So the sources of Boger-Bonnigerson's characteristic repertories are the repertory of antisorics, the therapeutic pocket book, the sides of the body, and repertory part of intermittent fever and whooping cough. All these are from Bonnigerson only, and aphorisms of Hippocrates. So before we start with the Boger-Bonnigerson's characteristic repertory in real, let us try to understand the logic and philosophical background. The first and foremost important of this repertory is the inductive logic, the particulars to generals. So what is an inductive logic is all about? First of all, I will go with the narration, then I will try to explain the same with one of my case examples. Okay. The inductive method in science is the application of principles of inductive logic to the scientific research. It requires the exact observation, correct interpretation of observed facts with a view to understanding them in relation to each other and to their cause, and rational explanation of the facts by referring them to their law of nature, and finally the scientific construction putting the facts in such coordination that the system reached shall agree with the reality. That is what we call the anamnesis, which is the main pillar of inductive science. Now we will try to put it everything in one of my case example. Okay. So one of my patients came to me with general body pains and stiffness in joints and all. So he happened to drenched in rain, then came to me with pains and all. He explained all these symptoms. He was very much restless, stiffness was there. He explained kind of whenever he tried to make a move, he used to get pain, especially arms, whatever. And this is how I reconstructed entire thing of that patient. Okay. So basically, we need to go with the cause. What was the cause? Wet getting drenched, okay, then lifting and overlifting, and the sensation being restlessness and stiffness, okay, and there was pain and stiffness with the hip joint and knee joints and all. Whenever he used to make a move, he used to pains and stiffness. Movement of arms also used to get pain. Along with that, very uncommonly, he had his taste. Actually, he came up with, he complained of cough also, with the taste of a bloody kind of taste was there in his mouth. So when I reconstructed everything, and this was the picture. This is what I mean to explain what is inductive logic about particular to generals. Okay. So this everything is a kind of exactly making an observation and exactly taking whatever has been available over there. So you won't be able, you don't need to make a kind of interpretation over there. So exact facts you can do that. Medicine is the ultimate one, so that is not that important. How we reconstruct the things, how we interpret, not interpretation, how we make a picture out of the narration of the patient. That is what you can have from inductive logic. Okay. So another thing is the generalization or analogy. Okay. Similarity in some respects between things otherwise unlike, partial resemblance. This is called analogy. The likening of one thing to other on the basis of similarity between the two things. An inference from certain admitted resemblances between two or more things to a probable further similarity between them. Like in homeopathy, modalities and sensations considered as a whole. Okay. For example, in colocynth, abdomen pain, especially when you see, ameliorated by bending double and hard pressure. Bending double is a meaning, is a kind of putting hard pressure, whatever the pain over there. So amelioration by hard pressure. What he did, he generalized the rubric, the hard pressure amelioration. Even in headache also, if you can see the amelioration from hard pressure will be there. Let us try to see. See, colocynth. Now, let me tell you one thing. The heart pressure in headache amelioration you won't find in the materia medica available or even in proving also. This is what Dr. Bonninghausen and Dr. Boger mean to say about analogy. Okay. Now, another thing another beauty of this BBCR is concept of totality. This is entirely derived from Dr. Bonninghausen. Being a lawyer, Dr. Bonninghausen well aware of investigative procedures of a case. So he put all these investigative procedures into the homeopathic arena. The quiz, squid, ubi, cubis auxilis, cure, commodo, quando. The changes of personality and temperament, peculiarities of disease, the seat of the disease or the sphere of the disease, one can say, the concomitants, the cause, the modalities and time. Okay. Now, if you look at my example, case example, you will get all this information available here, right? Now, to that, Dr. Boger added his totality concepts. He entirely incorporated the concept of totality of Bonninghausen to his BBCR. Along with that, he added the time dimension, the causative modalities, the tissue affinities, and the pathological generals. Okay. Now we will see the basic philosophy and logic of BBCR. It is doctrine of complete symptom and concomitants, doctrine of pathological generals, doctrine of causation and time, the clinical rubrics, evaluation of remedies, the fever totality, and the concordances. So we will try to understand each and everything in detail as far as possible. Okay. The doctrine of complete symptoms and concomitants, which is based upon the Bonninghausen's concepts. It completely derived from Bonninghausen to BBCR. A complete symptom which consists location, sensation, modalities. Now once again we will try to see this thing in my case example itself. Okay, you can see very easily location, sensations, modalities, the concomitants available here. Okay. So during this interview, the thing which is unreasonable attendance of main symptoms are also noticed in relation to the time, which are called concomitants. Okay. In my case, the cough with bloody taste is the concomitant, entirely different from whatever has been narrated by the patient to his presenting complaints, right? That is called concomitant. And the pathological generals. Pathological generals will guide you to the basic general affinity of that person or the case. So here with this information you will be able to get some idea where to search for. For example, hemorrhagic tendency. In Boger-Bonninghausen's repertory, sensation and complaints chapter is very much enriched with this information. I will try to show you. Okay. See, hemorrhage tendency. So if a case comes to you with kind of epistaxis or menorrhagia, a lady comes with menorrhagia and epistaxis, protracted menses kind of thing, you can easily select one of the medicine from this along with the other symptoms. So this is the tendency kind of thing, the kind of pathological general, what I mean to make you understand. It tells us the state of whole body and its changes in relation to the constitution. They help us to concentrate on more concrete changes to select the simillimum. Okay. Doctrine of causation and time. From the point of view of Dr. Boger, the causation and time factors are more definite and reliable in cases as well as in medicines also. That is why I tried to show. That is what I tried to show in my case example. In each chapter, he has included the time aggravation. I will show you. time. See, morning, forenoon, noon, afternoon, evening, night, all this. It gives more importance to causation and general modalities followed by general sensation, which hold the key in the remedy as well as in the person. See, once the uh, time section gets end, you will have the aggravations and ameliorations of each chapter. Okay, each chapter has got this kind of thing, aggravations. Ameliorations, see, for lower extremities kind of thing. And the evaluation of remedies. This is one of the important key or important aspect of if you can say therapeutic pocketbook or Boger-Bonninghausen's characteristics repertory. See, the evaluation of symptoms is entirely derived from therapeutic pocketbook only. So much so that almost everything has been incorporated. To understand this, the capitals, I will show you this one, capitals, graded 5. This is kind of very much proved, came out in proving, it proved in cases, clinicals, everything has been here. Then bold, with little less important, it has been verified by clinically. Then this next to that italics, then Romans, and then Roman parenthesis. It's very rarely used, okay, the gradation. But here I would like to tell you something. If you see one remedy from Roman parenthesis, and it has pronounced kind of thing which you saw in your case, doesn't mean that you ignore this one, right? It depends upon the case itself. But whatever has been put in Materia Medica and put in the kind of information given in provings and all, that has been graded here. But you have to make a note of it also, right? But this is the most important thing, unlike the other repertories of Kent and the other repertories available. These are very much authentic, taken from Hahnemann's Materia Medica Pura kind of thing, okay? Fever totality. This is a unique contribution of Boger. Almost all the fever cases, without any fail, including corona cases, you can do very beautifully with this repertory. Because no other repertory represents the entire fever totality of the fever cases like this repertory, you know. So try to use this kind of a fever chapter of this repertory. You will understand. As I said, I can't hold my excitement of this repertory means this chapter alone itself will give you the hint if you go through it carefully. So see, in fever chapter what happens is each stage of fevers followed by time aggravation, amelioration and concomitation has been beautifully narrated. They should be arranged properly in order to get the simulacrum with help of Boger's repertory. I will show you just one example. Okay. See here, pathological types of fevers. If you are having, this is one aspect. Then circulation chapter. Here also you will have lot many information about fever cases. The chill chapter. See how beautiful, partial chill, partial coldness, shivering and all. Then we have heat and fever in general. Here we have the aggravations, ameliorations, concomitants. The concomitants chapter of the fever is very much important. Lot many people do not go with this. If you go with this, you will fall in love with this beautiful repertory. Heat and burning, partial heat. The concomitants chapter, see, everything will be there. Ears, cold, pain, ear, everything. With fever. Okay. Any kind of fever, I would say. Next comes the concordances. Unfortunately, you won't find this concordances chapter in softwares available. For concordances, you have to search in kind of the original book itself. But I will try to show in other repertories the use of concordant repertories, because it is very much useful to make a second prescription of things like that. Okay, so we will try to see. See, this is the relation concordance chapter. I tried to show it from Scroens. So it deals with the relationships remedies. As I said, it helps in making a second prescription. Now we'll go with the plan and construction of this beautiful repertory. Here I would like to tell you something. In original book you will find this version, okay, but in some softwares like Mac Repertory and Reference Works, you will get it in some other way, but it is the same, because to make it things easier they try to put the things in a Keynesian way. I will try to show you if it is available. See, everything you will get like Keynesian way, but this thing is the same, but to get the information in exact way for a narration we will go with the original version only. Okay, now the arrangement in most of the chapters, it starts with general rubric. Okay, general rubric means yes, okay, yes, right, left, these are the general things. Generally you will get it. That is how what I mean to say. Location rubrics are followed by subdivision of parts. We'll see. Location of the left side, right side, loins, buttocks, these are the locations, and then followed by alternating between anterior part, posterior part, outside with more depth, and sensations in alphabetical order. Okay, everything will be in alpha. Boring sensation, bounding, jumping pain, breaking, beetle pain, bruised feeling, these are all sensations. Time aggravation, amelioration, concomitants, cross references, separate subsections. Some of the things I showed you already. Still once again I will try to show you the lower limbs chapter, the time, then comes the aggravations and ameliorations and all. everything will be in subsections. Then the importance of Boger-Bonninghausen's repertory, how it made and how it showed. The special features of this repertory are complete symptom, everything will LSMC format, you will get it. Okay. Fever chapter, this is the special feature of this beautiful repertory. You won't find in any other repertory the unique chapter of this importance of this repertory, fever chapter. I'm very much fond of this chapter. The pathological generals I showed you, the aggravation emulation in general, and the cross references. Okay. So when to use this repertory? In obscure cases with short history and cases with paucity of symptoms with few or no mental symptoms, cases with pathological and objective symptoms, cases with modalities and concomitant symptoms, and fever cases. When you get maze of symptoms, you tend to get confused. Then use this repertory. You will get everything in a kind of LSMC format beautifully, and you can get it very easily. But for that you need to try to understand the structure of this repertory. Okay. The unique, once again I am telling you, fever cases you don't have to look for any other repertories if you are very well acquainted with this beautiful repertory. Okay. And a caution, when not to use. When mind symptoms are very prominent, you should not use this repertory. And if at all you use very carefully. When you have cravings, aversions, physical generals are more clear. The detailed case history, if you have got with clear-cut physical particulars available, sensations available, then emotion levels and delusions available. So go for higher repertories like Kent and other. So you can use this repertory also with very much caution. Only when you understand how to use judiciously this repertory, then also you can use this. Actually, in one of my case examples, I tried to show you that. The advantages of this beautiful repertory. To find out symptoms when practitioner perplexed with the maze of symptoms. When, as I said, many information coming up, physical generals and particulars, so you tend to get confused. So gather all of them, arrange them in LSMC format, you are done. And it can be used as a reference book to expand your knowledge of materia medica. I will try to show you. Okay. Bryonia. See, everything about Bryonia. Just to go through it, you can beautifully. So it is called the reverse repertory nowadays. If you try to understand the materia medica from this point of view, you will get lot of information. Okay. And large number of clinical and diagnostic rubrics and pathological generals and large number of remedies for the same will help us to understand the homeopathy in terms of modern pathology like asphyxia, angina pectoris, tuberculosis. Lot many pathological rubrics you will find in this repertory. Okay. And some more advantages, concordance and relationship for second prescriptions I told you earlier, and the fever totality. You will fall in love with this beautiful repertory once you go with this fever chapters. And lymphatic system and glands, one of the unique contribution of Boger's to this homeopathic community. I will try to show you. Okay. Glands. You won't find in any other repertory. This is one of the unique contribution, glands in general. So just go through it. So many rubrics about glands and the lymphatic system. Even lot many endocrine symptoms also you will get with this. Okay. Short and acute cases you can do with these cases. As I said, almost 60 to 70% of my practice, it is my clinical experience, I do with this repertory alone. For the rest of the cases, I go for the other repertories because it makes my time so easier, so convenient. And another unique chapter of this beautiful repertory is infants, sensation and comprehension development. I will show you. This chapter, if you really use judiciously, lot many infant cases you can handle very easily. See, infants affections of abdominal, aphtheid, constipation, dentition with constipation, cough, diarrhea, digestion weak, excoriations, lot many rubrics, a maze of rubrics. Almost each and every infantile condition you can deal with this in general. Another thing is menstruation well arranged rubrics. That is also very uniquely presented here, unlike where other repertories. See, menstruation, bloody discharge, concomitants after menses, concomitants at the start of the menses, concomitants before menses, concomitants during menses, concomitants to leukorrhea. See, you won't find all these things in any other repertory. You will get it in some other way, but this is very unique. Leukorrhea, menses, menstrual blood. See, I will show you, try to show you some information. Okay. Concomitants during menses, mind. See, whatever happens with the mind. How beautifully he put that. Faintness, vertigo, head. Lot many beautiful rubrics. And leukorrhea chapter. See, leukorrhea. Beautifully arranged rubrics. Very simply you can do that. And concomitants is leukorrhea. See, concomitants to leukorrhea. Abdomen distended kind of thing. Diarrhea during leukorrhea. So very much unlikely rubrics, no? Then cross references to at the end of all chapters, you will get that. And coming to the criticism of this wonderful repertory, of course, I try to put in little small things in little favor of this repertory. Symptoms broken. Some of the reconstructions of the symptoms not recorded in proving American clinical experiences. This is the main kind of criticism they do about this repertory. Okay, but if you are judiciously applying this repertory, you will be able to overcome these difficulties very easily. Some expected and some experts wanted the particulars and modalities to be made apart from the general symptoms of the patient. And similar rubrics in different sections, like you will have confusion in mind and sensorium. Both rubrics you will get in, there are some similarities. Some larger rubrics not arranged in a definitive order, having very few remedies. Examples, mischievous. As because they didn't give that much of importance to mind chapter, they say, but I don't find that, because once you understand the logic behind it will not bother you. And one difficulty with this repertory is nosors has been not represented very well, except very few like Madorinum and all. And as I said, they say little importance to mental symptoms. But for mental symptoms, Dr. Bowser says the interdependence of the mental and physical state is so great that we can never afford to overlook the it entirely. They moreover always clarify every other symptom, often in a decisive way. So when you have your entire case in the inductive logic and generalization methodology, mental symptoms will be an added information to confirmation, right? So that will be very much useful, but you need to understand the logic and construction of this repertory to have it. Those people who do not understand this, they make this criticism, and that's all. And my friends, I am very much delighted to say about this person, Dr. Bhanu D. Desai. This is a short book available. If you really want to practice this BBCR, just go through this beautiful book. In this book, he beautifully narrates how to use the repertory, and the beauty of this book is he put lot many cases to understand this. Almost if you go through all these cases, you can easily apply the BBCR principle into your practice. Just go through this book, get it, and apply. Now I will try to show few of my cases done with this repertory. I choose two cases from my clinic. The first one is a case of malarial fever. A woman recently came, 40 years, in 20th September 2020, in the peak of corona. So she had fever since 7 days, tried antibiotics 4 days. Then she came with in a panic state with intense fear of corona without going to the kind of investigations. So there was intense weakness and prostration and sensation of thickness of tongue, loss of appetite, total aversion to food and drinks, only desire for sour things. She actually very fond of Limca, one of the beverages available in India, soft drinks. And total sleeplessness with least noise makes her irritable, don't want to be spoken to, be aversion to watch television, wants to lie down in a dark room, offensive urination, indifference, irritations and water bursts was there, and taste, bitter taste and sour. So they went for on my suggestion for investigations. First they went for the COVID test, which came negative. Then I asked him to go for a normal blood report. So here you can see malaria positive, Plasmodium vivax positive here. Okay. Apart from that, I have made all the CBP also. The TC count was 3000 or something. ESR was 45 mm. Platelet count 1.8 lakhs. So with this information, I tried to analyze the case. So that is how I did. Touch aggravation, noises aggravation, darkness emulation, sleeplessness, water breath, taste bitter, aversion to food in general, oversensitiveness, indifference, frightened easily. Fever chapter, everything I had it from fever chapter. Fever, pathological types, fever, slow type, fever, febris nervosa lenta, urine odor, repulsive, sour things, acids, things like. So the remedy came out, Sepia, 200 in water dose, repeated every 4 hourly. Then the first follow-up in October 3rd, much better, slow but steady improvement in condition, fever very much reduced, and I enhanced the potency to CPR 1M with placebo. This was on 3rd October. Then in 9th October, no fever, feeling better. Just little bit of pain and tearing pains in legs, irritations were there, appetite much improved, no repetition, only with placebo. 22nd October, completely cured, no symptoms of fever and anything. She was completely alright. And the report, say Plasmodium vivax negative. So the second case is a case of migraine. This girl came to me in August 2018 for her chronic headache. Actually, she was studying in +2, that is pre-medical, we can say, in a residential college. So she was having headache since her 9th standard. So she used to have left-sided headache, bursting type of headache, and something moving sensation was there in headache always. Burning pain in left eye with canthi with headache was there. Very mild, gentle, smiley girl, very much tense about exams. Every time she used to get exams, she used to feel very much tense. Even in class exams also. She used to get confused prior to exams. So wanted to focus, but least noise makes her disturbed and irritated, used to cause headache. Gets very much distracted. So her concentration gets deviated as her roommates make some noises. Okay. So gets irritated but can't react. But in her home, she used to scream and yell like anything. She is so sensitive that least noise, like her roommate if her roommate drinks water or swallowing with water, and while reading, turning the pages, those things used to get aggravate her pain. She used to get very much panic after that, which makes impact in her exams and affects the score. In turn, it makes very much kind of depression for her. And a headache used to aggravate in sunlight, reading. She feels very weak, especially after lunch and dinner. So along with headache, she complained vertigo as well. So this is the information, not much information available. Actually, on that day she came in a very kind of depressive condition, unable to speak anything, especially about the symptomatology. Her mother was accompanied her. She spoke about all these things, and very few symptoms I got from her, the patient. So had to depend upon physical generals only. Tried to get some more information, but was not possible. So once again, here BBC here came to risk. So this is the repetition. Scratching or leaning of noise aggravation, noises aggravation, weakness, exhaustion, sensitiveness acute, heaviness, internal parts. See, aggravation reading, photophobia, sunlight, burning, canthi, eyes, mental disturbance, emotion aggravation, internal bursting headache, some sensation of alive something, left-sided headache, concomitant dulled senses, sensorium painful, confusion, muddled, mild, tender, distracted, preoccupied, unobservant, difficult concentration, can't think, and chaotic. So these are the rubrics I collected. So the remedy came up, Asaram. So from Materia Medica we have Asaram produces a remarkable state of oversensitiveness of nerves, scratching of silk and linen, rattle of paper unbearable. Not only that, but even the idea that someone might scratch with fingertip or nail produces disagreeable thrill through him. See, here the patient's symptom was, see, she is so sensitive that if her roommate turns the pages of the book, she would get pain. So remedy, my prescription was Asaram Europium 200 weekly once. After 1.5 years, got completely cured. and she recently appeared NEET 2020 and scored very good rank. Most probably by the time I recorded the case, I am presenting the case, she might have admitted or took admission in a medical college also. Okay, so as far as concerned with my presentation, I thank Dr. Farooq Z. Master, the book How to Best Use of Boger and Boningerson's Repertory, GeoSoft, Radar Opus and Homeopathic Software, the Synergy Homeopathic Software, and Dr. Ghanshyam Kalathia, who gave me this opportunity to present you my point of view about this wonderful repertory. Thank you very much.